All right, what's up, all you beautiful people? This is the exact process I would use if you tasked me with destroying your business. Now, I don't know why you're coming to me and you're like, Anthony, please destroy my business, but I can only assume you've had enough of it. You're over it. You don't want to babysit this thing anymore, and you just want to drive it straight into the ground. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that in as few steps as possible. And the reason I want to talk about this actually is it's comes from something Charlie Munger said. Charlie Munger, the late great investor, partner of Warren Buffett, he was a fan of collecting mental models, which are these mental lattice works upon which we can hang our thoughts. And one of those lattices that he was very fond of was this concept called invert, always invert. Now, the core of this idea is that it can often be really difficult to triangulate what do I need to do in my life to move towards my goals. If you're not currently a healthy person and you want to become healthy, you might have this lack of knowledge of what it takes to become healthy that stops you in your tracks from actually making progress. Well, Charlie, in this concept of inversion, it says, well, instead of trying to figure out how would I get to my goal, instead invert that, turn it on its head and ask yourself, what would I do to ensure that I wasn't healthy? If I was taking a person and said, I'm going to make this an unhealthy person, what would I do? And you'd be like, oh, well, I would never let them sleep. I would make them eat too much. I would never let them work out, right? So you can start to triangulate what the things are that you would do if you wanted the opposite of the goal. And the reason this is powerful is because humans are very, very good at figuring out the negatives, the pessimism, the cynicism in life, because that's what kept our ancestors alive for millennia. We became really good at figuring out what not to do. So let's use that frame here through the perspective of what would we do to destroy our business, and in turn take that then and invert it back the other way so we can say, oh, if you actually do want to grow a business, which is why I do assume you're listening to this, then maybe don't do these things. So number one is the quickest way to destroy your business is to lose your team's respect. And the way that you lose your team's respect is by not doing what you say you're going to do. One of the questions we used to ask in the interview process at Escape when we would be bringing on a new hire is, do you have integrity? And this was a question that was important to us because integrity is one of our core pillars. We always wanted to be above reproach. The problem that we ran into, though, is that everybody defined integrity a little bit differently. I would ask them, I'd say, hey, do you have integrity? And not a single person ever looked me in the eyes and said, no, I don't have integrity. However, when I asked them, how do you define integrity? Practically no two people ever defined it in the same exact way. And so we need to define our terms here. Integrity for us was doing what you say. Your word is your bond. If you say you're going to do something, you follow through and you do it. Now, if you want to have integrity, in my eyes, you can't just say this is what we're going to do or this is what I'm going to do and then not follow through with it. That tells people you are inconsistent and you cannot be trusted. I don't care how great all the rest of your character traits are. If you cannot be trusted, your team will lose respect for you. And that is by far the quickest way to destroy your business. Number two, tied right into that is not doing what you say, is to show up late all the time, to set a low standard for your team of what you expect by modeling it for them and always being unprepared. If you come to meetings and you're always late and you're unprepared, you don't know what they're going to talk about, you haven't reviewed the meeting agenda or anything like that, your team is going to pick up on that really quickly, and that becomes the new watermark. That's the new expectation. They're going to start showing up late. They're going to show up unprepared, right? And next thing you know, you have this culture that is slowly degrading towards mediocrity. And that right there is a guaranteed way to destroy your business. Another way to destroy your business is to never look at your finances, to never actually look at the bank account and see how much money you got in there. Never look at your receivables, your payables. How much are you spending on overhead? How much is leaving your bank account every month? Now, this one's stressful for a lot of people. Like, sometimes you look at it and you're like, there's not as much in there as I would like, and that is very stressful. So maybe I will just go focus on the things that will bring more money in. But here's the thing is, like, and I used to have the same mindset when it came to my personal finances. That which we measure gets managed. That which we focus on expands. So if you're not focusing and looking at your bank account, then it's not going to grow. It's not going to move in the direction that you want it to. And that right there will definitely destroy your business. The last thing I want to talk about is to set unreasonable standards for your team. Now, the way that I define an unreasonable standard actually is not based off of how much work or how hard or difficult the thing is that you expect them to do. It's how well you communicated your expectations to them. Most of the time, the reason we fail, our initiatives, our teams fail, is because we didn't clearly communicate what we expected to happen on what timeline. So if we have these unreasonable standards, it's because we haven't communicated clearly what we expect as a result of that. If you clearly communicate what you expect of the team, for instance, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars in the next 20, 30 years, right? He wants to establish a city on Mars. That's not unreasonable because he consistently communicates that to his team. Now, if he never told his team that's the goal, and then he's holding them to this benchmark that he's never communicated, that right there is unreasonable. And that right there is how you would destroy a business. So those are just some ideas. Take these, invert them, be the light that you want to pull people towards. Don't be the darkness that sucks people in, right? So be the example that you want to set. Do not sacrifice, do not ever do anything that's going to sacrifice the respect of your team. Show up, do what you say, have integrity, set realistic expectations and accountabilities. And then, for God's sake, look at your bank account. That's going to do it for me, guys and gals. We'll see you in the next episode.